Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video today. In today's video, we rate Liverpool's transfer window that they just had in the 2025-2026 summer. This is a series I'll be doing. By the end of the month, I intend to have done 20 teams and put all 20 teams into a tier list. Now each team will have their own percentage out of all the numbers added up. Some teams may have more transfers than others, but this doesn't necessarily mean that their percentage is higher or lower. It's just what I've rated the player. I'll be rating the player out of 10. How much they fitted the team, and 10 for value. So for incomings, their total rating will be 20, and for outgoings, it will be 10. For players that will depart, like I said, it will be for the fee they received out of 10. Reminder everyone, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, so please help us in achieving our goal. Like I said earlier in the video, Liverpool is the team whose transfer window we're going to be analysing, and I just want to remind you lot again, just in case you didn't understand. For every new signing, the rating is out of 20, and for departures, the rating is out of 10. Let's start with all the incomings first. We will start from the cheapest and work our way up to the most expensive signings. Liverpool's cheapest purchase this summer was Giovanni Leoni from Parma for 31 million euros. The highly rated 18-year-old was valued at a higher price, but the president decided to let him go as Liverpool was a dream move for the lad. I think he's a 7 out of 10 fit for the club, and I don't expect him to feature much this season. It's more for the future, but as of right now, it's a 7 out of 10. It's the early stages of his career. I expect to see him feature in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup or a pointless Champions League game just to get him used to the experience. If there is 2 injuries however in the Liverpool centre-back positions, he will be called upon in the team. He looked good in his 17 appearances for Parma last season as a youngster. He's very physical. Let's also not forget he is 6'5". I think he's a good backup for Liverpool and a good investment for the future. I also rate his value as 7 out of 10 as it is risky spending 31 million euros on an 18-year-old, but he does look good from what I've seen. Leone's rating out of 20 is 14. Frimpong cost Liverpool 40 million euros, and he offers something new to Liverpool that they haven't really seen. In terms of fitting the team and the system is where I'm concerned. He's an exceptional player, reaching world-class status, but if you look at his heat map, you'll notice he's often in the same position as Salah, leaving the right-hand side very open, as Liverpool don't even play with a central defensive midfielder. We've seen in certain games so far, except the Arsenal game, that Liverpool can be vulnerable on the counter-attack. For value, it's a 10 out of 10, an excellent deal. Liverpool, I don't know how they managed to get one of the highest profile fullbacks, or wing-back if you want to say, for such a low amount. I thought Frimpong would be an 80 million euro type of player. That's how much I thought Liverpool could get for him, but the release clause helped Liverpool secure him on the cheap. Frimpong's rating out of 20 is 17. On the opposite side of Frimpong is Kerkez, who cost Liverpool 46.9 million euros. Arguably the best left back in the Premier League last season, despite being only 21. A bright future ahead of him, but he's already a class footballer. He's good going forward, has a brilliant cross on him, and is also good in defence, where he always seems to get a block in. In terms of fitting the team, I give Kerkez a 9 out of 10, and it would have been a 10 if there wasn't so many complications on the counter-attack. His positioning isn't as high as Frimpong's, but he does have no cover behind him, which is what worries me a little. But however, he does tend to make underlapping runs rather than overlapping runs, so he can recover quicker if Liverpool lose possession. For value, I'm going 10 out of 10. He was by far the best left back in the Premier League last season, and with his age, I have to just say it's a bargain for Liverpool in my opinion. Kerkez's rating out of 20 is 19. Ekitike cost Liverpool 95 million euros. It seemed expensive at the time, but he's looked promising so far, scoring in every game he's featured but one, which was against Arsenal. His link-up play looks good, he's got good pace on him, and is very sharp of his chances. But in terms of fitting the team, if a certain someone, who I'll mention later on in this video, wasn't bought on deadline day, it would be a 10 out of 10, as he fits the system effortlessly. But I'm curious to see how he fits into the system, so I'm going to give Ekitike an 8 out of 10 in terms of fitting Liverpool, and it could have easily been a 10. For value, I'm giving Ekitike again an 8. It did seem very risky paying 95 million euros for him, considering PSG basically just let go of him for a pack of peanuts 2 seasons ago. But he removed majority of those doubts just within 1 month for me. Ekitike's rating out of 20 is 16. Wirtz cost Liverpool 125 million euros. He's not had the ideal start to life at Liverpool, but I wouldn't be too concerned if I was a Liverpool fan. I think he'll be fine and become one of the best Premier League signings ever. He's an excellent playmaker, and he also has world-class attackers to his left, to his right and in front of him, so it looks promising for Liverpool. Wirtz fits the Liverpool system 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I don't think it's a 10 because he can sometimes be seen way too deep rather than further up the pitch. He's sometimes behind the 2 number 8s in the Liverpool team, Gravenberch and McAllister, but I think with time that issue will be sorted. In terms of value, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. As yes, it's a huge amount to pay to pay 125 million euros for any player. But Wirtz, in my opinion, is a generational talent and Bayer Leverkusen's best player of all time. Plus, he's only 22, so he was never going to be cheap, with also a decent amount of years left on his contract. Wirtz's rating out of 20 is 17. And the final player for incomings this summer at Liverpool, the man who I vaguely mentioned earlier on when talking of Ekitike. I'm sure majority of you already knew who I was on about. Alexander Isak, the most expensive Premier League signing. I think he fits perfectly into Liverpool's style of play. I just can't see how he doesn't work out. He will bury majority of those Salah crosses. He will be making non-stop runs for Florian Wirtz to play him through. He's also dominant in the box physically and technically. I don't know any defender that can deal with him. So I give him a 10 out of 10 for fitting into Liverpool's style of play. I think he starts majority of games for Liverpool when fit, but again, I'm genuinely curious. How do Liverpool make him and Ekitike both work? Which is why for value, I'm giving Isak an 8. If he's in doubt to play full 90 most games when he's 150 million euros, it's a bit concerning. But I think he will score majority of games before getting subbed off. Isak's rating out of 20 is 18. That's the incomings done. On to the outgoings. And starting off with the loans. Harvey Elliott, for value, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Because there's a mandatory 40 million euros buy option from Aston Villa. I think Liverpool could have got more. If they pushed it, they could have got 55 million euros, as I believe Harvey Elliott is very underrated. That's why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Tsimikas, there's no buy option, so I'm going with 2 out of 10. I think now is the time for both parties to move on. I would have given it a 0, but maybe he can boost his market value whilst playing consistently for Roma and get sold for more in the summer next year. Nat Phillips, I give it a 4 out of 10. As Liverpool could have got 10 to 15 million euros 2-3 seasons ago after he had his breakout season, so selling him to West Brom for 3.5 million euros isn't ideal, but it's also not the worst of deals as he hasn't played football consistently in a couple years. Tyler Morton, I give it a 7 out of 10 because a year earlier, Liverpool reportedly offered 20 million euros by an anonymous club, so him going to Lyon for 10 million euros is significantly lower than that offer, and he wasn't even used in this year difference of keeping him. But it's not the worst of deals, like I said, for Nat Phillips as well. Morton's a bit similar. He's not been playing consistently, so 7 out of 10 for him. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I give it a 2 out of 10. 10 million euros for a player who should have gone for 100 million euros in my opinion. The less said, the better. Kelleher, a 5 out of 10. It would have been a 2 if it didn't help smoothen things with Florian Wirtz, so Leverkusen could get Flecken off Brentford, allowing Kelleher to join Brentford to replace Flecken for 14.8 million euros, which in my opinion is far too low. Kelleher for me is a 35 million euros keeper in my opinion, and Liverpool really sold him less than they should have. Ben Doak, 10 out of 10. Liverpool managed to sell the youngster for 23.2 million euros with expected add-ons. A good player, but he was hardly ever used at Liverpool, so we don't even know how good he is. I think it's a good deal. Kwanzaa, I give it a 7 out of 10. I feel Liverpool could have got 50 million euros from Leverkusen rather than 35 million euros, but a good value, as Liverpool will probably get Guehi for half the price in January, if not on a free next year. So it's not a bad sale, and they also have a buyback clause, which is why I give it a 7 out of 10. Nunez, 6 out of 10. They lost around 20 to 25 million euros on him, and they sold him to Al Hilal for 53 million euros, when in January they were reportedly offered 80 million euros. It isn't ideal, but still a good amount, considering he didn't really have a successful time in Liverpool. He was a good player, but it just never clicked for him, and I hope he goes on to do well at Al Hilal. And lastly, Diaz to Bayern, 9 out of 10. Liverpool sold him for 70 million euros, but I think they could have got 75 million euros if they pushed it a bit more. But regardless, they made a profit on him, and he also wasn't willing to extend his contract, so this was a good sale for Liverpool. Now, here's how the tier lists work. In the A tier, you must have 75% or higher, B tier, 60% to 74%, C tier, 45% to 59%, and D tier, 30% to 44%, and anything below 30% is an F tier. I added up all of the ratings I gave Liverpool, and it came to 163 out of 220, which is 74.1%. So Liverpool just miss out on the A tier and make it into the B tier. That's the end of the video, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you agree with my ratings or not. Reminder everyone, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, so please help us in achieving so. Thank you for watching.